Okay, everybody, I probably just left the room, or I might actually be in the room right now, but I want to spend some time on the eighth commandment today. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to read all the different lines, and then I'm going to kick it back to you guys so you can go through and have the conversation that you need to have around it. And I've got some discussion questions down below this, as always, and you can just start at the very beginning, go through as many discussion questions as you can. I like the get in a circle and have discussions more as opposed to like lecturing. I just feel like there's more interaction and you can learn and just we can all retain so much better by doing it that way. So this week we're going to talk about "You shall not lie," which is the eighth command, and then next week we're going to look at the last command, which is "Thou shalt not covet." And next week, on the 14th, there is no Sunday school. And then the 21st, we'll have our last session on the 10 commandments. And then starting in January, we'll start breaking down the Apostles' Creed. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're going to go through this right here, and we'll see how far we get. So hopefully this only takes this little snippet. This video takes about 10 minutes, and then we'll kick it back to you guys to have your discussion. So I'm going to read first the note from the large catechism. I'm trying to stay in the center of the frame here. This is what it says. It says, "This command was given to protect one's name and reputation. Communication in ways that do not uphold our neighbor's name and reputation breaks this command. The greatest violators are false preachers who, by their false doctrine, speak ill of God and his name. If we are aware of something negative about our neighbor but have no authority to act, we should remain silent and not speak of it. However, when the proper authorities call on us to speak to the matter, we will do so honestly." And I'm going to go through, like I said, each line of this talk, and you can follow along, and then you can have your discussion after that. Honesty is what this is about. It's not about what you don't do. It's about how you are living, how you are speaking of one another, and how you're speaking of situations. And are you speaking the truth into every situation? And there's some ramifications that happen when we do not speak the truth into the situations and about the people in our lives. And we'll break that down as we go. I'm now going to go to line 255 here. It says, "Over and above our own body, spouse, and temporal possessions, we have another treasure, honor, and good reputation. We cannot do without these, for it is intolerable to live among people in open shame and general contempt." Proverbs 22:1 says, "A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver and gold." It is better to live around someone that has a good reputation, that speaks truth and acts truth, than someone who lives a false life, has false motives, has false way of communicating. And what's even worse than that is living with someone who is honest, but they are spoken of as dishonest. We see that a lot in our culture today, especially around Christians. Line 256 says this, "Therefore, God does not want the reputation, good name, and upright character of our neighbor to be taken away or diminished, just as with his money and possessions. He wants everyone to stand in his integrity before his wife, children, servants, and neighbors." Lying is about stealing someone's reputation, about stealing someone's integrity and misusing it. Lying affects the person that's being lied about, but it also affects the person doing the lying. And what does this do? It creates so much confusion in our communities, in our families. Line 257 says this, "In the first place, we must consider the plainest meaning of this command according to the words, 'You shall not bear false witness.' This applies to the public courts of justice, where a poor innocent man is accused and oppressed by false witness in order to be punished in his body, priority, and honor." Martin Luther is speaking right now, is saying, so much injustice comes when someone lies about someone and they don't have the means to defend themselves or to defend their reputation. And in this instance, someone who may be honest but may not have the means or the resources or the finances to protect their reputation, especially in the courts, are going to lose. We see a lot of injustices in the olden times. This is the times of Martin Luther, where people couldn't afford lawyers and they couldn't afford their names, so they were thrown into prison and punished when they very well have been an honest person and committed no crime. Line 260 says, "Therefore, this commandment is given in the first place, so that everyone shall help his neighbor to secure his rights, and not allow them to be hindered or twisted. But everyone shall promote and strictly maintain these rights, no matter whether he is a judge or a witness, and let it apply to whatsoever will." This is about creating an honest community. This is about creating a community built upon trust and built upon the truth. If we have a community and we have, what's the word? Hopefully I remember to edit this pause out. But if we have a community, if we have about creating honest responses to what's taking place around us and building a foundation of honesty and truth in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in our families. And we look around at our the current state of our political arena in America. We have states fighting with the federal government. We have the federal government fighting with states. We have everybody's lying about everybody else, and the citizenry are caught in the middle, and we have no idea what's truly happening because we can't trust anybody because everybody is lying. That is not a healthy community to live in. So we need to make sure that everything we are doing is honest because it affects the community around us. God, therefore, this is line 269, God, therefore, would have such a behavior banned that anyone should speak evil of another person, even though that person is guilty, and the latter knows it well, much less if anyone does not know it and has the story only from hearsay. And he is referring right now to gossip. Now, gossip can be true. It can act, but what is the purpose behind it? If you know something about someone, maybe somebody in your family or a friend did something wrong, or they had a bad attitude, or whatever the case might be, they committed a sin, and even though saying it is true, the intentions behind that are not to bring truth, but to bring, to basically, what's the word? Another word I can't remember. When, like, the itching ears want to know, inquiring mind wants to know. It's squelching that that curiosity. That is gossip. It's all about the motives. And gossip, we know, destroys communities, destroys churches, destroys families. No good. Line 270. If you do not trust yourself to stand before the proper authorities and to answer well, then hold your tongue. But if you know about it for yourself and not another. For if you tell the matter to others, although it is true, you will look like a liar because you cannot prove it. Besides, you are acting like a rascal. We should never deprive anyone of his honor or good name unless it is first taken away from him publicly. John 8:32. And you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. If you know the truth and you're going to speak the truth about a situation, make sure that you know the hard facts about that truth. Okay, we have a lot of assumptions that take place in our world. We have a lot of assumptions that take place in the public arena, so to speak. We have a lot of assumptions that take place in our marriages or in our relationships with our family. Okay, there's a place for assumptions, but we should have facts when speaking the truth. We should have facts and evidence when speaking the truth. If we are going to go to our spouse or to a parent or to a child and bring some sort of accusation, then we need to make sure that it is rooted in truth and not assumption, because that can be very damaging to the relationship. Otherwise, it all comes down to intention. Now, the last line, line 285. Now we have the sum and general understanding of this commandment. Let no one speak any harm to his neighbor with the tongue, whether friend or foe. Do not speak evil of him, no matter whether it is true or false, unless it is done by commandment or for his reformation. Let everyone use his tongue to make it serve for the best of everyone else, to cover up his neighbor's sin and infirmities, excuse them, conceal, and garnish them with his own reputation. Okay? We want to make sure that the words we speak serve everybody else. There are times as a pastor I've had to confront some very difficult issues within church members or church body. But what is the agenda? Is the agenda to expose or is it to heal? Jesus would bring correction, and he would do it in a way that would bring people to health, or at least give them the opportunity to come to a place of health and restoration, and as Martin Luther puts it, reformation. All right? Do not speak evil. That's the whole thing. We don't want to speak evil of one another with our tongues. We want to speak in a way that brings health. So now here's what I want you guys to do. After all that I just said, I want you to go back to the very beginning, start going through those questions, and then discuss them amongst yourselves. Get as far as you can. Be bold, be courageous, and share your thoughts on these situations, because I think conversation leads to discipleship, and discipleship leads to growth. So thank you very much. Like I said, I'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll wrap up the 10 Commandments and then get ready in 2026 to go into the Apostles' Creed.